Okay, are you ready to hear about our Heavenly Father's plan for you?
Hey everyone, today we're diving into Heretic, a psychological horror film starring Hugh Grant, Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher. It's got a bit of barbarian in its DNA, a tense battle of wits and some deep religious themes. But is it worth your time? Let's break it down. Heretic follows two young Mormon missionaries, played by Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher, who knock on the door of a man played by Hugh Grant. Seems simple, right? Well, that's where things take a turn. The movie primarily takes place in Grant's house, which, unlike Barbarian, has more going on beneath the surface than you'd expect. It's less about traditional horror and more of a slow burn psychological thriller, built around intense dialogue and a creeping sense of dread. One thing I have to mention right away, Topher Grace. He makes an appearance as the girl's Mormon leader, but he's barely in it, and his role doesn't have much impact on the story. He just kind of shows up and then disappears.
Pie smells amazing.
And now that you've been studying the Book of Mormon, how does it make you feel?
Can you guess what kind of pie she's making?
Now what really makes this film work is the dynamic between Hugh Grant and the two girls. Their back and forth is the heart of the movie, and Grant delivers his lines with the perfect mix of charm and menace. Chloe East in particular is fantastic. She holds her own against Grant in every scene, making her character's internal conflict genuinely compelling. Sophie Thatcher is solid as well. That said, the movie isn't without its flaws. The opening conversation about Magnum condoms, I mean, that is just not my thing.
And the look of embarrassment and horror on their faces was so painful.
Thankfully, the movie picks up once Hugh Grant enters the picture, and the dialogue shifts to religion, power, and control. But then there's the final act. Now I have to be honest, the last 20 minutes lost me a bit. The movie starts strong, but the time it reaches its climax, things start to feel a little dumb. Some story elements, like the elder who shows up just to ring the doorbell, I mean, it just felt unnecessary.
That's a code word. That's a code word. Okay.
Also, there's this weird moment early on where Chloe East's character gets pantsed by some teenagers, and they mock her for wearing magic underwear. Believe it or not, this actually ties into the climax in a strange way. I get what they were going for, but it was a bit of an odd choice.
Your magic underwear.
Now there's a really important scene, and it translates well from the screenplay and is my favourite part of the movie. And it's the section that holds the most tension, thanks to Hugh Grant, whose character appears to be very confident and methodical in his research and discussion, almost like it's been rehearsed countless amounts of times for nefarious purposes. The tension in this scene builds through philosophical debate, psychological manipulation, and the eerie realization that the two missionaries are trapped. The use of symbols such as board games and religious texts builds a layered thematic argument.
Knocking on doors. Selling people a better life, a better board game, a better song. You ever think about that?
The transition from intellectual discussion to a more sinister tone happens gradually, climaxing with the disturbing realization that the doors both lead downstairs.
If I'm right, then the only thing that matters right now is what we actually believe.
So is Heretic worth watching? Honestly, yeah. It's a solid psychological horror with great performances, sharp dialogue, and a unique take on religious horror. Hugh Grant continues to prove he's fantastic at playing villains, and I'd love to see him do more of these darker roles. That being said, it's not perfect. The last act gets a bit messy and some moments felt unnecessary, but overall I was invested from start to finish, and I think this movie will get people talking. And I'm going to give Heretic a 3 out of 5.
I put the scented candle on the table because I wanted you to think about the things that you believe just because somebody asked you to believe them.
If you like slow burn thrillers with thought-provoking dialogue, you gotta check this out. But if you're expecting non-stop horror, you might come away disappointed. So what did you think of Heretic? Did it keep you on the edge of your seat? Or did it lose you in the final act? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Is it true?
Is what true?
Do you wear magic underwear?
What?